Okay, so I'm going to go over just a few conversions with you guys of how to do the unity fraction, and pretty much this entire section and the next few fifth sections are dealing with unity fractions. If you look at your first page on 2.2, the second page on 2.2 PowerPoint, it tells you there's conversions on page 104, and there are a bunch of conversions. You guys, I will let you use this on your test. There's length conversions, weight conversions, liquid capacity. So if you look through your book in chapter 2, there are a bunch of different conversions that you guys need to go ahead and write all of them down. So I'm just going to give you a few examples so you guys can see. So the first one is 4 yards, and you need to figure out how many feet. This is the easiest way to learn how to do a conversion. So we want to go from yards to feet. So I write down my yards. All right. So whatever conversion unit they give you, this, if you want to get rid of this unit, it needs to be moved to the bottom. So I want to get rid of yards, and I say, okay, look to see, are there any conversions for yards to feet? And yes, there are. I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. If you look it up, it says 1 yard equals 3 feet. So now what happens is, remember when you have the same thing on the top as you do on the bottom, those cancel, and this is the same thing as saying over 1, right? So 4 times 3 is 12, and then you're left with your unit feet, and then of course 1 times 1 is just 1. So you're left with 12 feet. All right, let's do another one. I'm going to do the fourth one on your PowerPoint. 2.1 miles equals how many yards? So I'll write this as 2.1 miles. I want to get rid of miles, okay? And how many yards? Is there a straight conversion for this? I know that there is, we want to go to yards, so there is 1 mile, there is 1760 yards in 1 mile, right? So your miles will cancel. 2.1 times 1760, you end up getting 3,696. Now let's say the question asks you to round to the amount of significant digits. Well, there's only 2 significant digits here, so if you want to round this answer so that it has significant digits, that means that you've got to get rid of these 2 numbers. So this would round up to 3,700 if you only want 2 significant digits in your answer. Okay. I'll go to the next PowerPoint. The average American consumes about 44.7 gallons of soft drinks per year. How many 12 fluid ounces would this be? So first thing we need to do is we need to convert gallons to ounces. Okay, and there's several different ways to do this. So I want to get rid of gallons, right? And we're going to fluid ounces. So off the top of my head, you might have a different conversion, but I'm going to show you a way to do multiple conversions at one time. So I know I can go from gallons to quarts. So I know 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So my gallons get rid of, but I want to go to fluid ounces, right? So then I want to get rid of quarts, and I know 1 quart, and I'm going to go to pints. It's 2 pints. All right, and then we're going to go from pints to fluid ounces. And off the top of my head, I know that 1 pint is 16 fluid ounces, okay? Again, you're not going to have to memorize any of these conversions. You can just look on the chart, and there may be a straight conversion for one. So this is just one. So I've done 1, 2, 3 conversions here. I went from gallons to quarts, and quarts to pints, and pints to fluid ounces. All right, so now multiply straight across. 44.7 times 4 times 2 times 16, and you end up with 5,721.6 fluid ounces. The nice thing is there isn't anything on the bottom because 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. All right, and then it says how many cans would this be? And the can is 12 fluid ounces. So the last thing you have to do is you have to divide it by 12. And so you will end up with about 476.8 cans. And let's say I want to round this with significant digits. Well, there were 3 significant digits in the problem. So this needs to be rounded to 3. So this would round up to 477 cans approximately. All right, I'm going to do one more example of this, and then if there's any questions on this, you guys let me know, and I'll be happy to do some other problems. So the next one is a patient is directed to take 4 teaspoons of liquid medication per day. So per day. How many days will 16 fluid ounces bottle last? So the first thing is I want to convert to see how many teaspoons will be in 16 fluid ounces, because I know that the patient needs 4 teaspoons per day, and we want to see how long this medicine will last. So we want to convert the 16 fluid ounces to teaspoons. So I'm going to write my conversion, 16 fluid ounces. All right, so the first thing I know is 1 fluid ounce, and I looked at my conversions and I know it's 2 tablespoons, but we don't want tablespoons, we want teaspoons. So I'm going to do it again. I want to get rid of the tablespoon, and I know I can go to teaspoon. In your book it's written as a little t, and I know that 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. Okay, all right, see that? So now my fluid ounces cancel, tablespoons cancel, and you're left with a teaspoon. So now all you do is multiply 16 times 2 times 3, and you're left with 96 teaspoons. And we want to figure out how many days. Well, how many teaspoons do they use per day? They use 4. So I'm going to divide this by 4, and this will cover approximately 24 days on this medicine. So for all you medical office, some of you medical students, you're not going to know how to do this stuff. And there's lots of examples in your books, okay? So this is how you do most of the problems. You got compound units. Compound units, which is 2 or more. There's plenty of conversions for that. Square feet area is always in square, something square. So square inches, square yards, square rods. To make sure when you're dealing with area, it's always square. There's conversions for that. You do it the same way. Volume is always in cubic inches or cubic feet. There's conversions up there for that. You'll have to write those down. Time units, most of you know those, okay? And then your homework. And I will be taking this homework assignment up, so make sure you guys get that written down. And that's about it for this section. Thank you.